So thanks for coming to visit with me today. Can I ask a little bit more about the reason that you chose to meet with me?
Sure. So I just had my physical. My doctor let me know that I gained some weight. So I'm now in like the overweight category.
Okay.
I normally wouldn't be concerned, but this is the third physical in a row that I've
Sure.
gained weight. So I just love to lose about 15 to 20 pounds, get
Alright.
back to being healthy.
Okay. So why 15 to 20 pounds?
That would bring me back to the normal BMI range,
Alright.
and that was probably a previous weight that I was at where I felt comfortable.
All right. Okay. So you feel like 15 to 20 pounds is like an achievable goal
Yes,
for you.
definitely.
All right. Great. Are there any other reasons that you might be motivated to, make this weight loss a priority for you? Anything, outside of just that being healthy part?
Well, I'd love to have more energy throughout the day. I feel kind of sluggish at the end of the day. All I want to do is just sit on the couch, watch TV. Love to be able to do some more hobbies and fit my clothes.
Sure. All right. So it sounds like you definitely have some good motivation to get things started. But I know losing weight is a hard process for anyone. Are there any specific barriers that you can think of that might be a problem?
Well, my knowledge of food prep is pretty limited. I know how to cook grains, but I'd love to branch out and learn some more. I've also attempted to lose weight before, but got pretty frustrated when I didn't see results, so it's kind of like a short-term sort of thing.
All right. Tell me a little bit more about those previous weight loss attempts. What did you try before that you got frustrated with?
Before I tried a high-protein, low-carb diet, but I do love my carbs, so, and I'm not entirely crazy about protein, so I didn't really know how to prepare a lot of meats, so I found myself getting frustrated in the kitchen, kind of just gave up.
Okay.
I also tried to count my calories, but it was really tedious.
Yep.
So I got hungry and would snack at night.
All right, sure. That can definitely be frustrating.
Yeah.
So I think facing a new weight loss approach, the two of us developing a really individualized eating plan for you, what would you say your motivation on a scale of 1 to 10 is?
Probably about a 7. I definitely want to lose weight, and I think that some help would be great, but I'm a little nervous I'm not going to see any results.
Sure. Okay, well, it sounds like this is definitely an important goal for you to reach, and we can definitely take some small steps today just to work towards making a few changes.
Right.
Right now, I'm just going to get a short snapshot of what a typical day of eating is like for you. So starting from when you woke up, can you tell me what you ate yesterday?
Sure. I'm usually running out of the house to work, so I usually pick something up on the way. Yesterday I had a sesame bagel with some cream cheese, a nice coffee with 2 creamers, and 2 packs of sugar.
Okay. And about how much cream cheese would you say you had? Just if you had to reference using these.
Probably about 2 of these.
Okay. All right.
So then after breakfast, I usually have a small snack before lunch, a big bottle of orange juice and a snack bag of pretzels.
Okay.
I never have time to make anything for lunch, so I just grab some fast food. Yesterday I had a bean and beef burrito with some chips, salsa, and some guacamole with medium lemonade.
Okay. And what did your portion of chips look like?
It was probably about 12 chips.
All right.
Yeah.
And just using these, about how much salsa and guac did you have?
About this much.
Okay. So what did you have after lunch?
After lunch I had a small snack of a chewy granola bar and a small palmful of trail mix. Dinner is really the only meal I have time to make for myself, but I usually like to keep it pretty simple. Last night I had a pork chop, an ear of corn with butter, and some mashed potatoes. I also had some milk.
Okay. And using your hand, just for reference, about how big was your pork chop?
Probably about a palm and a half.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. And what % milk did you have?
2%.
2%?
Yeah.
About how much was
I
that?
had a cup and a half.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Also, I had some dessert of light chocolate ice cream.
Okay. About how much?
About a cup.
Okay, great. And then just to kind of broaden the picture, I'm just going to ask you on a weekly basis, some typical foods that you eat. So do you usually have 2%, or is there any other type of milk?
Usually 2%,
All
yeah.
right, okay. And for vegetables, do you typically have fresh, frozen, canned vegetables?
Frozen.
Okay. All right. Anything that you particularly love or hate?
I love broccoli and carrots,
Okay.
lettuce. I really hate asparagus.
All right. And for fruits, do you find yourself having fruit juices, canned fruits, fresh fruits?
I like fruit juices and fresh fruit.
Okay. All right. And moving on to carbohydrates, bread, do you typically have white bread, wheat bread, anything like that?
Usually white bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And potatoes, pasta, rice,
Yeah, I love my starches, so I
Okay.
usually have a grain with every meal.
Okay. Great. And proteins. So, do you find yourself, do you use, that sounds so weird. So proteins. What types of protein do you eat? Do you like fish? Do you like chicken?
I like
red meat?
pretty much all protein except for
Okay.
red meats. I try
Okay.
and stay away from those.
Okay. And how many times a week do you say you would have protein?
Probably, 2 times a day, so 14 times a week.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And do you like cold cuts, deli meats,
Yeah.
bacon, sausages, those types of
Yeah.
things? About how many times a week do you say you would have something like that?
4 times.
Okay. All right. So another protein, eggs.
Yeah, I
How
usually
many
grab
times a
a
week?
breakfast sandwich like 3 times a week.
Okay. All right. And cheese. Do you like cheese? Do you like?
Yes, I love cheese.
All right. How many times a week?
6.
Okay. And then when you're cooking your dinners, and usually when you put a spread or a fat on your foods, is it margarine? Is it butter? Is it oil?
I usually cook with olive oil or coconut oil, but then I like to put butter on my veggies.
Okay. All right. And I know you said you typically eat out for breakfast and lunch, so your use of convenience foods is pretty high.
It is.
And do you usually have dessert after you have dinner?
Yeah.
So about 5 times a week or
Yeah,
something
probably.
like that? Okay. So when you're snacking or grabbing something quick before lunch or dinner, do you ever grab candy or?
Not usually, no.
Okay. All right. So I know you have coffee in the morning. Do you drink tea, or is that an every morning type occurrence?
Yeah, I usually have coffee every morning and some tea.
Okay. And what about sodas? Do you drink those?
I do, usually with, lunch.
Okay. All right. And are you taking any vitamins or minerals, any supplements,
No.
anything?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So when you're cooking, do you usually add in salt as well?
I do.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, I definitely have a good snapshot of what a typical day of eating is like for you. So now we can kind of move on to the portion where we can discuss some options for how you're going to cut your calories.
Okay.
Because looking at what you are typically eating, I would like to estimate that you're eating a little bit over, the recommended goal for what weight loss is, which
All right.
for you would be about 1,500 calories. So I know you have some previous knowledge of how to count your calories, and about what a portion size is and things like that. So we can talk about ways that we can cut your calories where you're not feeling totally deprived, where you're not feeling hungry like you were before, things like that. So I find that one of the easiest ways is to cut calorie containing drinks. So not drink your empty calories, things like that. Do you think you'd be willing to try cutting out the lemonade and juices and maybe replacing them with water for the next week?
Well, I don't really enjoy drinking water, so I might find it a little difficult to give up my juice and lemonade.
Okay, that's fine. Do you like anything like unsweetened iced tea or flavored seltzer waters?
I do.
Okay. Well, why don't you try for the next week maybe swapping something out with unsweet iced tea and lemon or flavored seltzer waters and see if that helps.
Sure, that sounds doable.
All right. And then just after looking at your typical intake, your grain choices aren't usually whole grains. They're typically simple white breads,
Right.
things like that. I'm wondering if maybe the reason that you were so hungry before in your low calorie diet was because you didn't have these complex, slow digesting carbohydrates that, keep you full between your meals. Do you like whole grains? Do you like things like brown rice or wheat bread?
I do. I'd like to try to eat a little less starches because I know that that's kind of my downfall. So I'll try switching to whole grains and see if I can eat smaller portions and stay full.
All right, great. Well, just so you have a little bit of a reference, I'll give you this handout that's
thank
about complex carbohydrate sources. So these are, some pretty safe bets for some good fiber-rich carbohydrates. And this is about a half cup. It's about a portion of almost all of your starches. And then one more, little recommendation I might have is if you portion out 2 portions at dinner, you can keep 1/2 and use it for your lunch the next day, so you can avoid using fast food so much.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you in a week, and we can see where things are from there. It was
Sounds
really
great.
nice to
Thank
meet you.